You gotta turn this up, bro. It's just too good.
Bro, a lot of people don't realize that Persian music and it has the guitar and the stuff like this.
The classical guitar, I love it.
Everyone thinks it's like just like the weird, crazy, like. It's not all just that.
We're deeper than that.
Yeah, exactly. This is a classic too. Any hardcore, any Persian person,
Yeah.
if you don't know this song, shame on you.
Shame on you. You should know what this is.
Shame on you.
Awesome. Well, let's vibe a little before we get to the to the good stuff. Let me turn this up a little. You know the lyrics, bro?
Not really.
Awesome. Well, let's do it, brother. Welcome, everybody. You are watching Dreams to Reality podcast. I am your host, Annibal the Animal Rodriguez, and today we have a mixed martial artist in the house, a contract killer, Mr. Kameron Fardad.
What up, what up, what up?
Welcome, brother. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Of course, we are here at Pugilist Gym in Thousand Oaks, California. If we were living in the Roman era, this would be where the gladiators came in to sharpen their freaking swords, practice their skills to prepare for the war in the Colosseum. In the Colosseum, that's the next fighting event that's going to be happening on January 27th. We have some really exciting news actually coming. I just found out yesterday. Why don't you share that news with us, brother?
So the 170-pound Rising Stars title for Up Next, it was under the possession of my teammate, Anthony DeSimone.
That's right. I think it's hanging up right over there.
Yeah, it's actually, yep, it is right over there. And he had won that back on, I want to say December 2nd.
Yeah.
At the Commerce Casino. And since Anthony has decided he's going pro, so he vacated the title. And my other teammate, Carson Dohan, we were going to keep it in the family, was going to fight for the title. And he unfortunately suffered an injury.
Bummer.
Yeah. But, you know, we're not playing patty cake.
Yeah.
You know?
Comes with the game, right?
Exactly. So you
comes with the job.
Exactly. You just have to take it in stride.
Yeah.
And I was originally planning to make my pro debut at the end of March with Up Next, and didn't have anything booked until then. But then I got a text last Friday from our dear Ryan Buckner, and he said that they're looking for someone to save this card. And I decided that it would be a big challenge, being that it's only 2 weeks out, and I've been preparing for a day before weigh-ins, so my weight is a little high, but it's time to accept the challenge. It made me nervous. I was looking, as you said, we talked before the podcast, into the mouth of the dragon.
That's it.
And I decided that if I am who I say I am, I had to accept. So I accepted. And so I will be fighting for the 170-pound Rising Stars title on January 27th.
Hell yeah, brother. That's super exciting news. And yeah, just like you said, you're facing the dragon, and you're doing something difficult. And I feel like things happen for you and they happen to you, and everything happens for a reason. I thought you had won a title before, but you just told me you're about to go pro, you're ready to go pro, and then you get the call, hey, you're going to be fighting for the title now.
Yeah.
So it's a movie, brother.
It is.
It's the beginning scene to a movie, and you are the main character. And guess what? Your opponent is also another character.
Yeah.
And he has in his mind another idea.
Right.
He wants to beat you.
Of course.
He wants to get that title belt.
Or at least he should. Right?
Yeah. And you want the same thing. So it's two forces that are meeting, and only one person is going to have their hand raised, and the other person is going to learn a lesson. You know. So I'm really excited to see that fight. I want to give a huge shout out to our brother Chris, with Up Next Fighting, and Ryan and the whole team over there, the organization. They put on a great event. I'm here interviewing the Rising Stars and Up Next Fighting, and all the fighters on the card, and I see over and over again just warrior hearts, and that's what I love about this game. Oh shoot, there's another little dog in here. Let's do it.
Bunch of troublemakers.
That's cool. All right, we are back in. Sorry, guys, we had not a technical difficulty. We had two vicious animals fighting it out.
Animal difficulty.
Yeah, but again, I want to give a huge shout out to Chris Buckner, Ryan Buckner, and the Up Next Fighting team for allowing a platform to have warriors like yourself showcase their skills. So super excited about that upcoming event and seeing you fight for that title. And what a great way to go pro, you know?
Exactly.
So that would be a beautiful story.
Yeah, you had said you had thought I had won the title, and the reason is because I've fought for the title twice already, not with Up Next. I fought for the Up Next title once and the Spar Star title once. And, I came up short. We can get into that, what happened in my first title fight. It was for the state title.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
So that was in January of last year. Mm-hmm. So basically what had happened was I had I took my first fight just kind of on a whim as like a test.
Yeah.
Won by first round submission. Took my second fight, won by first round submission. And I, found myself, sort of thinking I had zero striking experience.
That's right. You have a jiu-jitsu background.
Right. I was a jiu-jitsu black belt. I am a jiu-jitsu black belt. And I was, my inner dialogue was along the lines of like, oh, so I guess I don't need to train anything. Like I'm good. I've already reached the mountaintop. Yeah. I can do whatever I want.
Invincible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then I go into my, my third fight. I was 2-0. I fought Bobby Winther, who's actually now a 2-0 professional with Cage Warriors right now. Really good guy, really nice guy.
Yeah.
Great fighter. And he's a jiu-jitsu guy as well. And I found myself, not really training much for the fight. And, my weight was way over. Had to cut a bunch of weight.
You didn't take it serious.
I wasn't taking it seriously.
Yeah,
and
that's what it sounds like.
I had a big, huge turnout, sold like over 100 tickets. Everyone was...
Friends, family, neighbors, everybody.
Everybody. And I was believing the hype,
Yeah.
And, I lost. I actually, as a jiu-jitsu guy, I got submitted in the second round of that fight.
Wow.
And that...
Humbling moment, huh?
Well, it was, at that point, I had to make a decision, how am I going to react to this? And I believe I made the right decision, and I decided to double down, triple down, quadruple down. I found Pugilist Jim, my coach Thor, after that fight, and I decided it was time to start taking things seriously. And then even then, I took another fight against Trevor Deverstern, great fighter. He was the NorCal Camo State title, so I don't think everyone knows. Camo has a state title for Northern California and Southern California.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought they just had one title.
Bobby was Southern.
Yeah.
So I went straight to the list and I said, okay.
Who's Northern?
Lost to Trevor.
Yeah.
Right?
He's a great fighter, by the way, I know.
He is a great fighter. He's a good guy, too.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Super solid guy.
Yeah.
And lost to Trevor. I had been training here probably for a couple of weeks at that time. Then the next fight, I decided to go down to 155. At the time, Iman
Damn, bro,
Baker.
you went down to 155?
Yeah.
You must have been a stick.
Dude, I was on...
You're like what? You're like 6 feet?
I'm like 6'1".
Yeah, you're tall.
I say 6'2" sometimes,
With my heels on, 6'3".
Exactly. And I went down to 155. Jair Iman Baker was with Up Next Fighting. He was the champ at that time.
Yeah.
And had like a really good first round, almost finished him in the first round a couple of times. And then came out the second round totally flat, sort of adrenaline dump sort of thing. And then I lost that one. So then at this point, I'm on a 3-fight losing streak. After my 2-0,
yeah,
3-fight losing streak, all of a sudden, no one believes in me,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, my coaches, my training partners did.
Did you still believe in you?
I didn't. I wasn't really 100% sure.
Yeah, it's a spiral.
Yeah.
So this show is about philosophy and psychology. Mm-hmm. Winning philosophy and winning psychology. That's why I interview people that I see are successful in what they do, not only just by the titles or the accolades, but I'm talking about the mindset and the heart. you know, and when you start to get loss after loss after loss after defeat, it is very easy to get sucked into this negative downward spiral, and it's very difficult, you know, to come out of it. But it's possible, and it all starts with your thought process, and after that it's your actions, what you do, you know. So I'm always curious to hear people how they get out of that, because everybody's different, you know. What works for one person may not work for another. So I'm curious, you're going on this 3-fight losing streak. What is your thought process in that state, and how do you get out of it?
So I start to think, I mean, admittedly, I start to think, you know, this isn't for me. I start to let thoughts sort of intrude my mind, and I started to really lose my self-belief. Fortunately, I have a circle around me who always wouldn't let me do that. They would always be like, "Man, you're freaking crazy. Like, you've been taking the best fights. You took title fight after title fight after title fight."
Yeah.
And ultimately, I realized, though, that it really had to do with the way that I was valuing myself and what what my priorities were when I decided to fight. And ultimately,
can you explain that a little bit more? What were those priorities, and what did you have to rearrange?
So before, I would say I was prioritizing what now is obvious is all the wrong things, which is attention, glory, props, the consensus of other people, essentially.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
And the shine. And I really took what other people thought and other people's opinions of what I was doing very, very seriously, and was really fed by that.
You know what I connect that to is like a building. When you're building, like if you see these beautiful high-rise buildings, there takes so much work to make those buildings stay up, you know, and what's going to keep that building from collapsing is the foundation. You know, as tall as that high-rise building is in downtown LA, guess how deep that sucker is? It's deep. Right. It is fortified and cast iron and concrete and all kinds of shit. And it's ugly, man. You have to fucking get jackhammers and dig and they're hit rocks, and it takes a long time to build that foundation. And a lot of times, not only fighters, but any type of sport or athletes or any business, people focus on like, oh, let me get some nice drapes. You know, let me get some, oh, did you see the paint job I did on it? Did you see the cool little, you know, look at this Picasso painting that I have hanging on the wall. Who cares? Your shit's going to collapse the first time there's any kind of storm or anything. So I kind of see what you're saying. You were focusing on the shine part of the game. And what's cool about, man, I love amateur MMA fights because it is the training grounds to set you up to go into the pros. And if you haven't figured out your psychology, your philosophy, and what you're good at, and harness that, you're gonna have a rude awakening when you get into the pros, because they ain't playing anymore. Now it's for keeps. Now it matters. Right. You know. Right. I don't care if a fighter has like 8 losses in their amateurs. I will still invest in them and believe in them if I see their heart and I see what they're doing. You know. So yeah. So that's kind of how I connected that too. So keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No problem. So I was on this losing streak and prioritizing the opinions of others. And I realized that I really started to dive into, I got a mental coach, first of all. Her name's Erin Hurley. She was a jiu-jitsu world champion, and she coaches a lot of athletes. And what she kind of introduced me to was her version of what I would say is Stoic philosophy. Yeah,
I practice. Well, I'm a student of Stoicism.
Right.
Yeah.
And really just drawing the line between what I can control and what I cannot control.
Right.
And how expending energy on things that you cannot control is entirely a waste of energy. And what falls into that category is the opinions and the reactions of other people. And I started to realize that, you know, paying close attention to even UFC fighters and the way that the fans are very fickle, and you always hear them say, oh, the fans are so fickle, and reading comments under the UFC's posts, I was really trying to like dive into this, and I realized that it doesn't matter what you do, you're always going to have people that support you, and then you're always going to have people that don't. And also, they really are fickle. I mean, so I'm on what I would say is I'm on a 4-fight win streak right now.
Yeah. And
I've had people come up to me and be like, man, like, there's just so much. Talk to me about how I'm undefeated. Seriously.
That's funny. They think you've never lost.
The memory is so short.
Yeah.
Right. So,
you know what's funny? I thought you were undefeated too.
Okay. So there it is. Right. So you lose one, and then now it's like, wow, this guy has no chance.
Yeah.
And then you win one, and he's going to be the champion of the world.
Yeah. That's funny. I wrote something yesterday. I said, don't let people stop your future by holding you against your past, you know. And there's so many fuck ups, people that have jacked up their life completely and have turned it around, and today nobody even remembers their fuck ups. They don't remember their mistakes. They see them for who they are at the moment. And that's another reason why I created this show, this concept, because I interview highly, highly successful entrepreneurs, business people, actors, authors, you name it. And you don't know their story. People think, oh, he's lucky. Oh, Kameron, he's just tall and you know, strong, and he was born that way, right, you know, right. And he's just talented. And they don't know the struggle that it goes through. People don't know, you know, what's that actor's name that played Iron Man?
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey. He was a giant fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, he was a drug addict, went to jail and stuff. Mike Tyson was a giant fuck up. You know, right. A lot of these people were, you know, their life was a disaster, but there came a moment in time that it was the catalyst to their evolution. And typically those moments are very dark moments. They're tough moments, and that's what we're saying, facing that dragon, right. You know. But I want to start in the beginning. You know, what was the catalyst to get you into fighting? Do you remember your first fight? How old were you and what happened?
I remember, I mean, going back to karate when I was like a little kid, did it for some years.
So your first fight was at karate?
Was at karate. Yeah, well,
Nice.
You know what? Actually, no. My first fight was with my brother.
That's it.
My first fight was with my little brother over, you know, who was gonna get to hold the PlayStation controller, get to play PlayStation. I've always been the type to get fixated on that person disrespected me, that person wronged me. I hold, you know, Persian people, you know, like I remember my grandpa, this is like a story that I always tell. My grandpa was at a funeral for a family member years back, and someone, you know, was sidebarring and laughed at the funeral.
Yeah.
Laughed at the funeral. My grandpa didn't talk to them for like 20 years.
Oh my God.
So like it's in the culture, right?
Yeah,
it's like you don't disrespect me. You don't wrong me. You know, It's very, I actually liken Persian culture. It's honestly has a lot of similarities with Latin culture.
Yeah. I was just going to say that. That's funny.
It really does. And so I find myself with my Latin brothers and sisters really able to connect with them on like the culture of the old country. Yeah,
it's a lot of it is respect.
Yeah,
you know, it's respect, especially to your elders, and you know, not mistreating anybody, because if you do that, it's gonna be addressed.
Right. It's not over.
It's not over.
Yeah, it's not over.
It's funny because like I was trying to, because I thought about like, when was my first fight? Like I'm trying to remember when was the first time like I got into an actual fight against someone, and what caused and what was the outcome. And I've been fighting since I was a tiny little kid. Like it's just in my nature too. Like when someone does something, I want to get them back. And I remember watching a VHS tape of, it must have been like my 4th or 5th birthday, and I'm sitting at and they're singing happy birthday to me and have the candles and stuff. And I remember some little kid was trying to like grab to lick my cake, and I'm like happy and stuff, and in a second I grab his hand when he's trying to grab it, and I pinch him, and like I make like this angry face.
Just the rage that comes over your face.
And my brother's like, look, fool, even when you're a little kid, you're still trying to fight everybody.
Yeah.
You know, but it's the first time I actually had to use my fist and like punch someone that was like fighting against me. I must have been probably like 8 or 9 years old. And I'm trying to remember what the hell the outcome was, but I think I got my ass beat, actually.
Yeah, you got it. Everyone gets their ass beat. That's part of what you were saying is everyone thinks that like they see you in your successes and they think that like you just were like born a successful person.
Yeah.
Success is built on failure.
Yeah.
You know? And whether that's winning fights, you had to lose fights.
Yeah.
You know, having a successful business, you had to have one business go bankrupt. You know what I mean?
Or 7 like me.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Every successful person that I know there's probably some out there, you know, you can't say every always.
Yeah.
But it's not their first try. You know, it's their 5th, their 6th, their 7th try.
Yeah. The thing is, I like to reframe certain words so that I take the power from them, because words are very powerful. You know, that's why they call it spelling. You cast a spell on someone.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or cursing. You know, the words are very, very powerful. So if you say, "Oh, I lost," you know, "I'm a loser," or you know, these negative words that don't empower you, they will affect your brain chemistry and your vibrational energy throughout your day. So the way that I put it is I learned a lesson, you know, like for example, I'm telling you, I'm going to be debuting my first MMA fight next year or later this year. And, you know, I'm taking all the L's during the training. Right. You know, I'm getting kicked in the head. You know, I've never been kicked before. I come from a boxing background. Yeah. So I'm like, what the hell? My legs, like, oh man, it was like completely purple the last time I was here, just limping around. Like I have no flexibility. I'm like, what the hell? And
can't even sit on the toilet.
Can't, like everything's hurting. My back's all jacked up, my shoulders. And I'm like, oh, do I want to do this? Hell yeah, I do. I love this shit because I rewire my brain to say I'm learning a lesson that's going to make me stronger. I am sharpening my sword. I'm getting iron and rubbing it against another iron. I'm making it sharp and I'm making it strong. I'm fortifying. So throughout my day, I say these phrases, I say these words to make my psychology as strong as possible, to make it likely that I'm going to succeed. But yeah, one of the things that I wanted to talk about that I heard you say in an interview when you were talking about your what is it, a mental coach, or what type of coach is it?
Yeah, she's a mental coach.
Mental coach. Was the word that I like to use is surrender. You know, I like to surrender to the process, you know, not focus on the outcome. Like, I want to win that belt, right? I want to win this fight. So I'm going to surrender to the process of what I can control right now and not worry about the outcome. So I'm going to train as hard as I can. I'm going to fucking diet as hard as I can. I'm going to do everything that I possibly can so that when I get to that stage, my vision in my mind is going to become reality, you know? And you can't control a lot of things. You don't know what the hell that person is doing. You're just doing the best you can with what you have where you're at right now. So rewind back. What is your background in fighting? I know you said you come from a jiu-jitsu background, and how have you evolved as a fighter today?
So, I guess what it would make sense for me to start, just talking about my background in general. In terms of some people are made for things or born for this, I wasn't made for this or born for this. According to what most people would think. So when I was born in California, my dad immigrated here from Iran, and my mom she's Italian, but she's from Central California, kind of dairy town. There's not really much going on up there.
Just cows?
Yo, you work at the dairy or you work at the prison. It's actually Chowchilla, California. There's a state prison up there. There's a lot of crap that's gone down up there. And my dad and my uncle. So first of all, my grandfather, who decided to immigrate here, you have to consider the constitution it takes to do something like that, right?
Yeah.
Most people don't even want to leave their job and change their job.
Yeah.
But try leaving your country, going somewhere you don't even speak the language, bringing your kids.
Yeah.
So there's a level of constitution there.
This was your grandfather or your dad?
This is my grandfather. Who moved here when my dad was young. I mean, he was in school and a kid.
Okay.
And
that takes a lot of courage.
It does when you have all these mouths to feed. So he moved here in the 70s. So my dad is going to school in America, and then all of a sudden the Iranian hostage crisis happens, where Iran, I don't know if you saw the movie Argo.
Yeah, seen it.
So they take these Americans hostage.
Yeah.
And then my dad is in school. He was living in Pacoima at the time. And now all of a sudden my dad is the one who took all these people hostage, right? So my dad was fighting every single day in school, right? My dad and my uncle fighting literally every single day because, you know, all of a sudden now you guys are the ones that are doing this. This is happening. This is the big thing on the news, right?
Yeah.
And so my dad develops this constitution through going through these struggles. Then when I'm young, my dad decides to leave his job. You know, we're making it decent. I wasn't hungry, you know, but we weren't rich or anything like that by any stretch of the imagination. My dad and my uncle decide to leave their job along with my uncle that is my aunt, their sister's husband, and start a business. My dad had 2 kids. Me and my brother were young, and my mom was pregnant with my other brother. And he took a risk on that. Thank God that went well. My dad and my uncle, they became very successful.
What was the business?
It was online marketing. Their first business was called Speedy Click.
What year was this? Because online marketing, you're saying the 70s. I'm thinking like, damn, your dad was a visionary.
No. No, this was after I was already born. So this was probably in 2000.
2000?
So this was like the beginning of the internet, though.
Yeah.
You know, things weren't
where they are today.
Not even close. Now everyone's in online marketing.
Yeah.
You know, and he had, you know, 2-3 businesses go bankrupt. Investments from his dad, my mom's dad, everyone lose all their money, shame, you know, the whole 9 yards. But they kept learning from their mistakes in the last one, and eventually they got it. It started to pick up, and they became successful. And so I grew up, you know, my life was not hard.
Yeah.
Growing up, you know, my life was easy. My life was actually too easy.
I see.
And I was surrounded by people who thought that life was about the material possessions around them. And because of that, I saw a lot of people's character suffer because
they're fixated on financial rewards.
And they just had nothing
gains.
hard in their life. So at the drop of a hat, you know, the first hard thing happens in your life and they can't handle it. Everyone's a drug addict now, you know. In this part of town, you know, it's very common for people to be on their antidepressants, and then they drink, they go out and drink, and the mixture of those things, it gets kind of crazy, you know, and there's no adversity. And I learned very quickly that I was going to have to bring the adversity into my life if I wanted to grow and become the person that I wanted to become.
How old were you when you made this realization?
So
it's interesting.
It was after high school. I went to like a very popular private Christian high school out here.
Yeah.
All the kids of celebrities and stuff going to the school.
Yeah.
And I, you know, like everyone thinks that like money solves some problems, but it doesn't solve all your problems. I saw a lot of dysfunction, a lot of broken families, a lot of drug use, a lot of things that you think don't exist in, you know, in societies where people have money.
Yeah.
But there's just a different set of problems, you know?
Yeah.
And after high school, I realized I didn't do the same thing. Everyone was like, it was just everyone was going to their Ivy League schools, and you know, I never felt that was for me. Mm-hmm. You know, I could have, you know, gone and I had the opportunity to become a doctor, become a lawyer. You know, I'm a Persian, doctor, lawyer, blah, blah. You become doctor, lawyer. That's the only option, you know?
Yeah. Or you're running your family's business.
Or running the family's business. Yeah. Exactly. But I decided that I wasn't going to have that iron to sharpen myself on that you were talking about.
Yeah.
This path that's paved for me.
Yeah, it's a nice path, right?
It's a nice path, but you don't realize that for me, like
it's a nice path to nowhere.
Exactly. And it's in you're as a human being, as a man who's made to overcome things and conquer and face the dragon.
Yeah.
There's no dragons to face. You end up it's like a fish that doesn't swim.
We call it you get lost.
Yeah.
You know, it's for men specifically. As a man, you have to pave your own path, you know, or go down a path that you know is going to get you to the destination that you want, not the destination that everybody's saying you should take. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what brings true fulfillment and pride in yourself. Men need to have pride in themselves, you know, in what you do. If you are not proud of your physique, if you're not proud of your accomplishments, if you're not proud of your fucking failures, it doesn't matter what. You have to be proud of the things that you do. And if there's things that in your life that you have done that you're not proud of or that you regret, what you should do is redeem yourself. Redeem yourself so that you can walk with your head high and with pride and know this is something that I did. I built this, you know, and that brings so much joy and pleasure while you're doing it, even if you haven't accomplished it, you know. I'm happy getting punched in the fucking face. You know, give me more. People think I'm fucking crazy when I say like,
right,
I have all these things, but I don't care. I have the weight on my back and I say add more,
right,
because I understand where I'm going. When you understand where you're going, man, nobody can fuck with you, dude.
Right.
And if something bad happens, I say thank you.
Right.
You know, thank you. That was meant for me. It was meant for me.
Yes.
You know, and it's tough, especially when you're young. You don't understand. You think the world is against you. You think everybody's against you. You think that you're different. You think that people don't struggle with the things that you struggle with. But guess what? We're all the same. Mm-hmm. Same, but different, you know,
yes.
But still same.
Exactly. So that's, you know, I would say that is true from in my scenario where everyone could look at my life from the outside looking in and say, you know, I've everything, the way is paved for me and I'm going to have an easy life, go right off into the sunset.
Yeah. Like, oh, Cameron's lucky. He has money and he could go, you know, whatever college he wants to.
Right.
And you're like, nah, I want to fight.
Well, so now consider my family, they think
you're the outcast, huh?
I'm the black sheep. They think I'm insane. It's always like, oh my gosh, what's Cameron going to do next?
Yeah.
Because I refuse to, just be like, it's like a muscle. Like I'm going to become weak and flaccid and I need to challenge myself in a way that other people, I need to earn my own stripes, you know? And for me to feel the way about myself, I hold myself in a regard that I refuse to not be an actor, an effector, you know?
Yeah.
I want to be effective. I want to be active. I want to be making waves. I want to be paving my own way.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, it wasn't in business because for me, the way is paved for me in business already.
Yeah.
I want to pave the way. So I pick something that nobody can say fighting. Yeah. It doesn't matter what your background is. If you become successful in fighting, you did it.
Yeah. Like you literally did it with your bare hands and fist and legs and heart.
Exactly. And everyone thinks I'm crazy, man. Like, none of my family watches my fights, comes to my fights. You know, they don't.
Has your mom or dad ever seen you fight before?
No.
Is it out of, I'm curious, is it out of, I don't want to see my son get hurt, or is it out of, this is not what I wanted for him?
It's probably a combination of both, but there's definitely the sentiment of like, Cameron, like, why are you doing this? This is for people that have no other options. Yeah. And I think because they were forced, my dad's generation and my grandpa's generation, they were forced to pave the way for themselves, and they did earn their stripes, and they did build their pride and their self-confidence and their esteem that way. They don't know, they genuinely probably believe that they don't recognize how important that was because they had to, you know? They've never been on the other side where you're not satisfied as a man and as a human being where all your kill is already dead. The meat's already dead.
Yeah.
You have to go get your kill.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that because they were forced to do that. They think that was something that they were forced to do, but they don't realize how much of a good thing that is and how that formed them into the person that they are today.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of people don't give credit to the people, the visionaries who paved the path that you fucking walk on. It's like, if it wasn't for the courage of your grandfather to go against all odds and leave the comfort of his home or the uncomfort of his home in Iran and come to the United States, then you guys wouldn't have what you have now. If it wasn't for the courage of your father to leave his comfort of his guaranteed paycheck from his job to pursue a business that could have failed, maybe it did, and to continue to fight, you wouldn't be in the position where Kameron has it easy. He was born, to a wealthy family or to a well-off family. So I understand both sides, their thought process and your thought process. The way that I explain it to people is this way. I tell them, look, man, life is a fight. You either participate or you get beat up.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Like if someone walks in right now and starts acting crazy and shit and is like, I'm gonna fuck you up and starts swinging. I didn't pick this fight. This fool brought it to me.
Right.
But guess what?
It's a fight now. Yes.
And are you going to cower? Are you going to run away from the work of your life? Or are you going to overcome the obstacle? I call it Mr. Resistance. You have to have resistance to grow. Your muscles need resistance to grow. Your brain needs resistance. You need to figure it out. We human beings are a species of highly evolved primates that seek patterns in things.
Right.
We want to understand why does this do that? Why does that do that? And we figure shit out. We're extremely brilliant. That's why we have conquered the world and we've conquered all the animals, every species. We're the top dogs. We're not the strongest.
Right.
We don't have the sharpest teeth. We're octopus are probably smarter than us.
Right. Right.
They got like 10 brains.
Right.
But why do we do what we do? And that is the question that you need to sit down in privacy when no one's listening, when no one's hearing, when it's you and God. And you have to ask yourself what you want in your life and why, and then set off on that pathway. And no matter what happens, you have to surrender.
Right.
This was your calling.
Right.
Most people are living a life, they call it a life of quiet desperation. Mm-hmm. They have masks, So I work with celebrities and all these kinds of people, and their life is more fucked up than you could think. They portray an image that is not reality. Social media is a tool. For me, I use it as a marketing tool. But for others, they use it as a dopamine rush and as an escape to the reality that their life is a complete shithole. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Doesn't matter what car you're in. You can be wealthy, broke. You can be homeless. You can be living in a mansion. If you haven't figured your stuff up here, you're in for a rough ride.
Right.
Hell and heaven is here on earth, and we have the ability to create either one.
Right.
Money is a tool to do two things and two things only. One is to make your life more comfortable. So it's nice having a car instead of having to walk everywhere. It's not comfortable. Right. My feet start hurting after a while. My back starts hurting. So it's nice and comfortable. It's much more comfortable being inside a warm house than being sleeping on the floor outside. The other thing that money is going to do is going to allow you to expand the reach of what you do. If you're good at something, money's going to help you expand that reach, So that's all it is. It's just like a knife. It's a tool. You can either kill someone with it or you can do surgery and save someone's life. I love MMA. I love fighting because it's the psychology behind it. I see two people go into a fucking cage and I'm like, oh, this is freaking going to be awesome. Someone's going to get hit in the face. Let's see how they act. All that shit that we're talking on the mic, it doesn't matter. You know what matters? Let's see what you're going to do. So what is your psychology going into the cage? What are you thinking as you're prepping for this fight? You already know who your opponent is. For example, you're about to fight for the 170 belt for up next fighting 15. And you know who your opponent is. You know where you have to meet him as far as the weight goes. You know what you have to do. What is your thought process right now preparing to the fight? as you walk into the cage, and then once that bell rings, I want to know what typically goes through your brain.
So in preparation for the fight, it's all about honesty. For myself, I need to be as honest with myself as possible when I'm preparing for the fight, so that I can trust myself when I go into the fight. So that means doing everything that I possibly can to get physically and mentally prepared for the fight. So all of the normal things that you would think you would do, the hard training, the dieting, the checking off all the boxes.
Yeah.
Because if you can't lie to yourself during the preparation and then expect to trust yourself during the fight. You want to trust yourself during the fight, so you need to know that you're honest during the preparation and honestly do your best. Then walking out to the cage, I'm just trying to keep it as unexceptional as possible. Really, I'm with myself all the time, handling the challenges of life. This is just another challenge of life. I'm not going to deviate from who I am in myself and the person that I've cultivated, because I've cultivated that person on purpose, and that's going to be the person that I need to be to handle this challenge. And then going into the cage, it really is just the trusting myself and the belief in myself, and that I can't control what he's going to do. I can't control how the crowd is going to react. I can't control even necessarily if my knee goes out or something like that. All I can control is my reaction and my inner dialogue. So I'm focused on myself, my inner dialogue, and trusting myself, and ultimately trusting in God's plan for me. So I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do my absolute best and control the things I can control, and then trust that whatever the outcome is, it was what was written for me before I was born, and nothing I could plan or imagine could possibly be better than what was written for me. So it's very much faith-based, faith in myself, faith in God, and faith in the greater plan that takes me through these things without breaking and feeling fear.
I love it, man. That word, fear, is a very interesting emotion that all humans, as long as you're not a psychopath, have, and it's a tool. Like I said, just like that knife, fear is a tool. It's another tool that you can use to either win or fail. There's in your body, you have a response to certain emotions. When you feel sadness, typically you will cry or you will feel down, right? When you feel, happy, you'll feel elated, you'll feel more energetic, right? Mm-hmm. When you feel fear, some people freeze, they're frozen. Some people, run away from the fear. And some people, they get this rush of adrenaline with fear, and a lot of it, I'm always curious to find out if it's something that you're born with, that's in you, or if it's something that can be developed, to use. But from my experience, I've realized that you can develop certain muscles in your brain to prepare you for certain emotions.
Absolutely.
Because and the way you do it is that you put yourself in those positions purposefully, like you said, you chose to fight because
right.
you purposely put yourself, I'm gonna do something hard,
right?
Something that nobody else wants to do. And it could be in anything, if you're the type of person that is very shy and afraid of public speaking, go and do a public speech,
Right.
Freeze up there and be afraid and be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right.
Whatever you are fearing, that is the answer. So remember I told you I have these phrases throughout the day. One of the phrases that I say all the fucking time is, what gets in the way is the way. It's actually a Stoic principle. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that if there is something that you don't want to do, that is what you have to do.
Right.
The hardship. People, they like to seek comfort. They love it, you know, but the true winner understands that the answers is in the pain, you know, and the outcome is just part of the process. That's why you'll see when like a true fucking champion, a true winner, when they win, there's not really that much celebration.
Right.
Because they're like, yeah, of course I won.
Right.
You know how much fucking shit I had to do to get here?
Right.
You know how much I suffered?
Right.
I should win more than this. As a matter of fact, I feel they should pay me more. You know? That's what a winner thinks. Other people that win prizes. Have you seen people win the lottery? They are fucking doing backflips and cartwheels, and these are people that have never run a day in their life. They're like 400 pounds, and they're like, where the fuck they get all this energy?
Right.
Because they got lucky.
Right.
Because they didn't struggle for it. They didn't suffer for it. They didn't go through any adversity for it.
They can't believe it.
They can't. It's unbelievable.
Right.
And that weakness is the same reason why almost 90% of people that win the lottery lose it all within the first fucking year, because they're retarded, you know? While other people, when they have a gift that's given to you or that you have developed within you, you don't sell that shit cheap, man. You cherish it, you know? So that's the mindset that I look for in people that I invest my time, energy, and money into, is people that have that mindset. Bro, you only need a handful of these crazy motherfuckers to change the world.
That's a fact.
You know? So what I'm doing is I'm developing a movement to share this message to the world. You have to die to transcend and to accomplish something big in your life. And I'm not saying physically. It has to be a spiritual, an emotional death. You have to kill your old self, and you have to become the avatar, the warrior, the king, the evolved guru in your mind, in reality. And it's only going to happen one way, and that's through facing adversity and overcoming it through your intellect and through your experience. So I commend you, bro, for choosing this life. This was something that you chose to do, and it was a gift that was given to you, and you're doing the best out of the situation. So I'm super fucking excited to see this fight now. I'm going to be there. I got a media pass. I'm going to be taking some photos and videos of you.
Awesome.
And I'm going to be working with Up Next Fighting, interviewing their talent, and we're going to be doing the face-off show as well. Nice. So I'll talk to Chris. Let's see if we can maybe get you. And who's your opponent again?
This isn't disrespect. I'm not really sure. He has a very unique name. I think his name is Majali Gay. I'm not totally sure how to pronounce his name. No disrespect. But yeah, he actually I took a kickboxing fight with a kickboxing promotion, and he was in my corner. So we were warming up in the same corner. Yeah. It's funny, like we had some little interactions, having no idea that I had no idea that I was going to get matched up with him.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, and he's a tough guy.
Do you have any words to say to your opponent?
I would say, this isn't, for me, this isn't about you. If this is about me, I'm going to be focused on me the whole time. And, you're a fellow man in this world, doing your best to live the life that you believe you deserve to live. And I'm doing the same thing. So my respect goes out to you. But this isn't about you. This is about me.
I love it, brother. I love it. I like to understand how people think about opposition, resistance, their opponent. You can hate it. You can love it. You can give grace to it. You can give gratitude to it. And again, it doesn't even matter.
Right.
Because at the end of the day,
it's going to go down.
It's a fucking fight, bro.
Yeah. It's going to go down.
And fight's a fight, man. It's like, I'm going to figure out how to win. This is a game of strategy, my friend. I size you up. I see where your strengths are. I'll study you, motherfucker. I know what's up. And when it comes to that bell ringing, then it's on. So guys, make sure you follow Up Next Fighting on all platforms. Make sure you follow Dreams to Reality on all platforms. Where can we find you, Mr. Kameron? Sponsors out there, invest now, buy stock now, because this young man is a rising star. He's just about to go pro, and I am all for supporting fighters because I understand what it takes, to get into that cage, and it's a lot of courage. So you guys deserve to get compensated fairly for it, and also to be recognized for your efforts. So tell the world where we can find you, so we can get you some sponsorships.
So on Instagram, I'm K Fardaddy, Fardaddy. My last name is Fardad, but growing up here, everyone reads it. It's phonetically Fardad. So it used to really annoy me when I was younger, and I decided it's time to pivot what annoyed me and turn it into a marketing tool. So,
there you go.
And it's kind of funny too.
Yeah.
So K
it.
Fardaddy on Instagram. And yeah, man, life is a fight. So what better way to prepare for a fight than to fight?
That's it.
So that it is what it is.
Awesome. Guys, going to leave you with this. We have a new sponsor for Dreams to Reality. We bring you Maca Bars. They are the leading psilocybin mushroom chocolate bar company. We're going to be working directly with Maca and with the Coin Academy in Pasadena to showcase the benefits of psilocybin, both for your mental health and also for training when it comes to microdosing. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to follow, subscribe, like, share, and we'll see you guys next time.
اگه یه روز بری سفر بریز پیشم بی خبر اسیر رویاها میشم دوباره باز تنها میشم به شب میگم پیشم بمونه به باد میگم تا صبح بخونه از دیار یاری چرا